You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
All writers are prone to becoming so attached to our characters and stories that we struggle to see why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing to full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, shaping stories into masterpieces that can stand the test of time. Editing services are provided for all genres and all age categories. Services range from critiques of the short story through to the line edits of the full-length novel and copy editing for those preparing for publication. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites, as well as help with those book blurbs and promotional material. We won't abandon you to the masses. We want to celebrate with you in your successes. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services and prices, visit us at blackwolfeditorial.com.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control over your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank account, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problems now by calling the experts at Tax Mediation Services and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. Tax Mediation Services is accredited by the Better Business Bureau. Call now for a free case review and a price protection guaranteed quote.
Call Tax Mediation Services now at 800-610-9050. That's 800-610-9050. 800-610-9050.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it, there to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
They say we offer simple answers to complex problems. Well, perhaps there is a simple answer. Not an easy answer, but simple.
It's common ground. It's common ground. It's common ground. It's common ground.
We have serious problems to solve, and we need serious people to solve them.
Republicans and Democrats.
All right, folks, it's Saturday morning. You know what that means. It's time for Finding Common Ground. I'm one half of the crew, Mr. Rick Robinson. Got over here in the left chair, Mr. Bryce Robbins, my co-host, and we're going to hit on a plethora of topics today. We're just going to kind of do a bit of a round robin, touch on a little bit of everything. And, of course, Bryce has been itching for weeks for us to talk about climate change. even though I told him I don't dispute climate change, we just disagree on what it actually means. I figured today would be a good day to talk about it. I'm a little more mellow than usual, so hopefully I'm not yelling at him the entire show like I was last week. No promises, though, kid. Just saying that now. All right, good morning, Bryce. How are you?
You said it's Saturday, and that means, like, you know, it's finding common ground. But I thought when it's Saturday, it means I'm just really tired and get yelled at by a mean old man.
Tomato.
All right, no, I'm good. You know, tired but good. Haven't really done much this week.
And yet he's still tired.
But I have a good story, though. So I was playing baseball with my girlfriend yesterday, just throwing some baseballs and hitting them. And on the second pitch to me, clocked her right in the face. So that was a fun part of my week. I thought that was kind of humorous. Then she had like these stitches of baseballs across her face. So she's all right.
She's going to kill you for talking about this on air. You know that, right?
Yeah, you know. Probably wouldn't like it, but that was like the highlight of my week.
So wait, the highlight of your week was beating your girlfriend in the face with a baseball.
It wasn't that. It's just I said to her before we started, I was like, watch, the second you throw a ball to me, it's going to clock you in the face. Sure enough, it happened on the second pitch. And
so, in other words, what you're saying is you meant to hit your girlfriend in the face with a baseball.
No, I never meant to do it, but it was hilarious. The way.
Oh, come on. You practically Babe Ruthed it, man. You're standing there pointing, going, it's coming at you.
This is going right at your face. Now, you know, the second I realized that, you know, she was fine, I wanted to just break down laughing because there was just a seam of baseball going across her face. So that part was humorous. But other than that, I felt bad.
Doesn't sound like it.
I said keep your eye on the ball.
She did, literally.
Yeah, no. She kept her forehead on the ball. Kept her head in the game.
Oh my God, I can't believe you took off your girlfriend's head with a baseball.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. But she's all right. She's good. I gave her an ice pack. So, anyways.
Sorry about the baseball seam on your forehead. Here's an ice pack.
Basically, that was, you know, you're going to have a big bump on your head and a baseball seam across your forehead, but have a nice pack.
Fun times.
Indeed. So, what have you been up to this week?
Well, went to the doctor for the car wreck, got put on steroids for a steroid shot for about 36 hours. I felt like Superman, and then crashed right in the middle of my own solo show, and am still editing it to find out if anything is salvageable, because by the end of it, I sounded like I was on a 36-hour coke binge. It was kind of fun.
That's good.
Fun times. Yeah, so just in case anybody was listening to America Off the Rails for the first time ever on Thursday, I promise I'm not quite that crazy. What happened was I was given a steroid shot that made me feel like Superman for about 38 hours. At the 38.5-hour mark, which was at about 9:15 or 10:15 that night, I crashed and began babbling like an idiot and kept trying to bring it back, and should have just been a smart guy and killed the show and went to sleep and kept trying to do it anyway, because, you know, the show must go on. So if you were listening for the first time ever, I promise I'm not that crazy. Go back and listen to some of the other episodes. You will find there are things that I'm passionate about which make me sound crazy, but I'm not quite as crazy as that episode may have made me appear. And for your sanity as well as mine, it has been removed from the repertoire for the moment. Fun times.
Hey, you know, things like that happen. So, actually, no, they really don't. But I'm going to say, you know, things like that happen.
This from the guy who, like, schedules, like, 16 guests on his show. None of them call in. And then you're messaging me, begging me to open my mic because you don't have anything to talk about. So, yeah, things like that happen.
Yeah. No, it's true. It's true.
Come on, man. Open your mic. I'm dying here. Nope.
I have the worst luck sometimes with fans. With guests, I mean. Sometimes I'll get some great ones, and then I get the ones that just never fall through. But I get close, like, Just terrible. And, I get a lot of rejections, too. Like, Dick Cheney and Dan Quayle were both like, no.
Well, can you blame them?
I guess not.
First thing you would have said to Dick Cheney was, "You meant to shoot the guy. Admit it."
You were behind 9/11. I know it. We have evidence. Tell us it's true.
Oh God, it would have been a few good men played out on the radio. You want the truth? You can't handle the truth.
Yelling back and forth with Dick. They'd be like, Dick, can I call you a Dick? I'm Bryce. You're Dick. All right, let's go on with the show.
Did you really just say, "Can I call you a Dick"?
Can I call you a Dick? That's a better point. All right, so what was the first topic
No,
you wanted to...
I'm seriously asking because that sounds like what you said. It's like, "Hey, Dick, can I call you a Dick?" I was like, did he really just say that?
I probably just said it.
All right. So anyway, let's kind of run down them in order, I guess, kind of, sort of. There is all kinds of talk about the $400 million that we gave to Iran. Josh Earnest came out and is like, no, this was not a ransom, but it may or may not be being used for nefarious things. Look, I could pull the party card and I could beat Obama to death with this because, let's face it, it was a really terrible time to send them money. But the simple fact of the matter is, since we've made this dumbass agreement with them, technically it's money that we owe them. It's money that we've owed them since the Carter administration. So if we're going to blame anybody, it still belongs to the Democrats, but this one squarely belongs on Carter, not Obama. Now, was it really bad timing? Did they hold some prisoners for an extra long time to make it look bad on us and give us some bad optics and make it look like we paid a ransom? Sure they did. Why wouldn't they? Because they've already got us over a barrel, because they're getting everything they want from the Iran deal, and we're getting their thumb up our butt and being told that it's great, and it's just not cool.
Well, see, all right, I kind of was not expecting you to go the route of, maturity. I thought you were going to kind of take like the Rod Eccles type route and be like, the $400 million was sent by a secret like hostage, for secret terrorist hostages or something. I don't know, some weird stuff like that. But no, yeah.
Hey. Just because you're used to debating Rod Eccles on Facebook does not mean that I'm anywhere near as bad as Rod Eccles.
All right. Yeah, no. I'm just saying, I get used to it on Facebook. So no. But yeah, the $400 million was frozen assets. And some people were saying that it was ransom money at first. It obviously came out that it wasn't. And like you said, I think it was just bad timing. But I do think that if we really want Iran to be a player in the world, economy, and I think if we want them to honor their part of the nuclear deal, if we really want it to work, and thus far it has, keep in mind, the amount of nuclear, reactors, so I've read, has dropped from like 19,000 to 6,000, which means they don't have enough to, be making nuclear material. And keep in mind, we are allowed, time to go in and inspect, or we have to go and announce or whatever. But that I think is ridiculous. But anyways.
Okay, so hang on just for a second, and this is when you're probably going to think I'm putting my tinfoil hat back on. But remember, we had a lot of these same type of agreements with Iraq before Iraq went to crap. And we had all of these international groups that were going in to check for weapons of mass destruction, etc. But they had to give so much notice that by the time they got in there, if there were any, they were pretty much gone. Whether you believe the stories and the security briefings and everything else all the way back to the Clinton administration, I personally believe that Saddam Hussein did have weapons of mass destruction. There's actually satellite tracking of a large group of trucks moving to Syria who's now been using, occasionally, chemical weapons matching the signatures of the ones used in Iraq. So my problem with all of this is, yes, they can say that they've done all of these things and they've spun down all these centrifuges and dismantled them or whatever they're saying, but there's no way for us to really know for sure that that's exactly what they've done. And that's one of the reasons why I have the issue with that we have to give them X amount of weeks notice before we can do anything or go in, because that's crap, because that gives them plenty of time to hide whatever they want to hide. It's going to wind up being the same thing that we put up with in Iraq. And there are also a lot of other things about this deal that I don't like, but that doesn't matter at this point because that deal's been made, and neither of the people that are running for office right now are going to do anything about it. If anything, it's going to wind up remaining so much more of the status quo than anybody on any of the sides wanted, that we're all just going to be standing around 4 years from now going, we really haven't done anything again, because that's exactly what we're looking at.
I really think, though, that, look, in the beginning, I was very hesitant to this deal.
You weren't. No, you weren't.
No, I was.
No, not in the beginning you weren't. You were more towards the middle when you started hearing about all the little things that were coming out. You were like, because I remember, and you hated to say this, but there was like about 2 or 3 months after we first started doing this, because the Iran deal started breaking right about the time you and I started doing shows, and you were pretty pro. And then about 3 months in, you were like, this is going to hurt, but I think you were right. And now you're back to me not being right again.
I was never happy about it. I'm like, oh, but I have to say, now that it's happened, I guess I just kind of accept it. But
So in other words, you're back to falafeling.
No, I'm not falafeling. I'm kind of neutral on it, and I guess it's just going with the motion of the ocean. It's happening, so I'm going to kind of be
That's what she
all
said.
right with it. Shut up. But with this nuclear agreement, I think that it's getting another player into the international market, and I think it's opening up Iran. And I think there are many ways, as the U.S. Energy Secretary, the guy with the crazy hair, Ernest Monzi, I think, he explained that if Iran was building nuclear weapons, we would be able to detect it, and it's not something that you can hide. You can't hide all these, particles of a nuclear reactor within 2 weeks or within really any time with the technology that we have. So I don't think hiding them is a threat. To answer your previous question, though, when you put on your tinfoil hat about Saddam Hussein, look, there is no evidence of nuclear weapons, and that was the big claim. That's what Dick Cheney said. He said that there'd be a mushroom cloud over Washington, D.C.
No.
What?
The claim with Iraq was not nuclear weapons. It was weapons of mass destruction. It was never about nuclear weapons.
All right, I'm going to get the clip where Dick Cheney literally says there could be a mushroom cloud over D.C. He said that on live television.
No, I'm not saying that he didn't say that. And let's face it, with as loose as some of the countries are with their nuclear technology, there could literally be a mushroom cloud over D.C. It's not like it's an overstatement. But what I'm saying is, the simple fact of the matter is, most of the security briefings and everything else centering around Iraq were more about weapons of mass destruction, like chemical weapons, not nuclear weapons. And
but
that's...
Nobody denied that they had chemical weapons.
No, actually they did.
I mean, I don't recall anybody ever stating that chemical, because he was gassing.
Well, no, but that's what I'm saying. That was all happening back in the 90s. But the stance for the longest time, even all the way back to the Clinton administration, which was that he still had access to those type of weapons. So we kept trying to send in inspectors and do this and do that. And by the time the inspectors got in there, they couldn't find anything, but everybody knew that he still had them because our security apparatuses were telling us that he did. But they wouldn't do anything except kick it back over to the UN, who would continue to do paper sanctions that weren't doing anything, so it was making the UN look completely ineffective. And then George Bush steps on the scene and says, look, if we know he's got these things, then we need to do something about it, period, plain and simple, instead of continuing to kick it over to Iraq and the UN and have them look completely feckless. So he did what he thought that he should have done, and then what's come out after the fact is all of these people saying that Saddam really didn't have those weapons at that time, and they started blaming the Bush administration for making it up, when the simple fact of the matter is it actually goes all the way back to the first years of the Clinton administration, where they admitted that as far as they knew that he did. So he was acting on intelligence from a previous administration and still got raked over the coals for it. And everyone to this day who is opposed to the Iraq War continues to say that there were no WMDs. And that's not true, because they can actually, if you go back and you look, you can find a couple of articles that never got any traction, never really went anywhere, but they show satellite photos of a really large convoy going into Syria right about the time that we were going to start bombing Iraq. And everyone knows that that's likely where those weapons went, because within a couple of years of that, Syria suddenly had chemical weapons they didn't have before, and lo and behold, the signatures are fairly close to what was being found, or what was assumed was in Iraq at the time.
No, I understand that chemical weapons were found, and that, that there was those types of weapons of mass destruction, but to my understanding and my reading, that Dick Cheney, Donald Rumsfeld, and George Bush sold it more along the lines of a nuclear attack is impending if we don't step in now. And the issue was that there was no nuclear weapons that they had. I understand that there were WMDs of, gases and toxic warfare, perhaps. But I mean, here, I have a clip for you right here about for Dick Cheney, who was literally caught lying. It's just 30 seconds.
9/11 terrorist. You have said in the past that it was, quote, pretty well confirmed.
No, I never said that.
Okay. I
never
think
said
that is...
That's absolutely not. What I said was the Czech intelligence service reported after 9/11 that Atta had been in Prague on April 9th of 2001, where he allegedly met with an Iraqi intelligence official. We have never been able to confirm that, nor have we been able to knock it down. It's been pretty well confirmed that he did go to Prague and he did meet with a senior official.
See, so Dick Cheney lies about one thing and says the other. But, I mean, I guess that wasn't my point on WMD, is just that he has told several lies. So that's just one instance of him being caught in a lie. Now, again, I want to find the clip for you about the mushroom cloud. But, I mean, it's ridiculous. Rickster?
Dude, no, I mean, I'm my Google foo is stronger than yours, and I'm not finding any reference to Dick Cheney mentioning anything about any nuclear weapons. Everything, even everything that I pull up that asks the specific question, did Iraq have any nuclear weapons, keeps pointing back to stories out of places like the Political Insider, New York Times, etc., that we're all talking about the fact
that I won't stop.
But until I find... Speaking of which, there's an ad. Hang on a second, let me kill this. I hate when they do that. All right, so anyway, I mean...
First of all, I love that you called it Google Foo. That in itself might make you win the argument, calling it Google Foo. But, yeah.
I mean, look... I mean, the simple fact of the matter is we're getting really off topic because there's not really any point in continuing to hash through the whole Iraq thing. But my point is, because that's exactly what we kept doing with Iraq, even though we knew better, was taking what they were saying there at face value, because by the time we could get any inspectors in there, we couldn't find anything. So we kept having to take what they were saying at face value. We're making the same mistakes with Iran. And let's not forget, the Iranian people might not much care about whether they like us or they hate us, but the Iranian government cannot stand us. And we have just made them a world player again, given them access to unlimited resources through their oil sales, and given them back a lot of seized assets that the White House press secretary admits will likely be used for terrorism. So no, in my opinion, this was not a good thing. This was a terrible idea. This should have happened after the Iranian people figured out whether they wanted to continue to be the asshats of the world or whether they wanted to start trying to be the good guys of the world, because it's up to them, not up to us, and all we've done now is prop up the same people that we say we're trying to fight against everywhere else in the world, so it doesn't make any sense to me to do this at this time, and it never has.
Yeah. No, I mean, like, again, I'm not going to deny that, it's the best deal in the world. But I think if the goal is to stop nuclear weapons, or to stop Iran from having a nuclear weapon, it seems that it's doing a pretty good job of that. And let's be real.
Except, hang on, see, this is the thing nobody's talking about, and this was something that I've talked about before that I thought you and I had come to an understanding on. Iran doesn't need their own nuclear material. Now that they have $400 million and who knows how much more money coming in from their oil sales and everything else, now that they're going to be start being a part of the world market, all they've got to do is say, hey, my good friend Mr. Russia, Mr. Putin, I really want to wipe this Israel off the map. Can you help me with that? You
Why did Jamaican?
Well, it didn't start Jamaican. It just kind of ended that way.
Okay, no big deal.
But yeah, I mean, so we're missing the point here. They don't have to have their own nuclear material anymore because we gave them money and we gave them access to world markets. So now they're going to be able to buy whatever materials they want to buy that everybody knows are readily available on the black market, whether anybody wants to admit it or not, which is why Dick Cheney making the surprise statement that there could at some point be a mushroom cloud over D.C. isn't that far-fetched, because if you've got the money, you can get pretty much anything you want if you know where to look.
Again, and then let's look at it like this. Would we rather Saddam Hussein have stayed in power? Or that's another argument you could go into about should we have even gone into the region, because look at it now. So
that's one of those hindsight is 20/20 things, and I'm sorry, as much as he was a stabilizing influence to the region, I don't believe that anyone that was doing the things that he was doing should have been allowed to continue. But again, that's a story for that's a completely different topic. My issue with all of that is when we went in, we should have went in and stayed in until it was done. There shouldn't have been all this hand-wringing and all of this other things that have happened, because when we wound up losing it was when Barack Obama started taking his victory lap, talking about how he was going to end the Iraq War and pulled all of these people out. Let's not forget, because I've played the clip a million times, that before George Bush left office, Bush 43, he told everyone, if we leave there too soon, it's going to be 1,000,000 times worse than it was when we got there. And that's exactly what we did.
Who signed us out? He signed us out. Obama took the credit. He signed us out. Just saying.
What are you talking about?
Bush signed the final orders to start pulling troops out.
Yeah, to begin pulling troops out, not to pull pretty much everyone out, which is exactly what Obama wound up doing, was accelerating the things that were already there, because the Iraq War at that point had become unpopular. But the simple fact of the matter is, whether you want to blame Bush or blame Obama is irrelevant to me at this point, because like I said, I'm a man without a party. At this point, I'm going to call it like I see it. There were plenty of things that the Bush administration did wrong, and I called them out about it at the time. There are plenty of things that the Obama administration has done wrong, and I'm going to continue to call them out about it. And whichever one of these two jabronis winds up being the next president, whether they've got a D behind their name or an R behind their name, I'm going to continue to call them out, because that's what this stuff is about. It's not about party allegiance. It's about putting your country above everything else. And the simple fact of the matter is, we have been getting screwed for a very long time. We have been getting played for a very long time, because the one thing that this election cycle has shown me is there really is a big apparatus working behind the scenes that has both parties very well interconnected, and it's basically a brand war. You pull the lever for Coke, you get a Coke, you feel good because you got what you wanted. You pull the lever for Pepsi, you get a Pepsi, you feel good because you got what you wanted, but they're both freaking sodas, and when it comes down to it, there's really not that much difference between the two, and that's exactly what's happening with the parties right now. That's exactly what's happening with our politics right now, and that's exactly what's happening with our country right now, is we're being sold a bill of good and being given an illusion of choice, and it's screwing us all over because we get woke up for about 30 seconds, we get riled up, we make a choice, we hope we've made a difference, and then we go right back to sleep, and we wind up right back where we started. And the simple fact of the matter is, all of this is bad, because we cannot trust these people, and we just made them a part of the world economy again, which they don't deserve to be, because all they're going to do is take whatever money they make and set apart doing whatever they want to do with that money, which is going to be to start taking out governments they don't agree with. Period. They've already said that.
Well, you see, I like the Democrats a little bit, so I'm kind of angry with your tone. No, I'm kidding. Look, again, I really feel as though there are many key distinctions between the parties. And for that reason, I'm going to continue to vote the way I vote. But
and God help us, this time he can actually do it. See, up until now, it's been mock elections only for this guy. Now he can actually officially pull a lever, and I'm a little nervous about it.
Exactly. So basically, Rick, our votes cancel out each other. You vote for somebody, I vote for somebody. It's going to cancel each other out. But, well, actually, no,
I can fix that. I know a guy named Vito in New Jersey who can take care of you.
But again, if you look at it in the large sum of things, a lot of things are just the same. I mean, if you look at them on economics, other than, healthcare, they both largely agree in free trade agreements. right? We hear Donald Trump touting how he hates all these free trade agreements, and he says, oh, I'm going to rewrite these trade agreements. Okay, so you're still in support of free trade. Then, no,
hang on.
They can largely agree on the tax policies.
Don't get too far off topic on this one, because you just reminded me of something. I don't care what Donald Trump says about trade agreements, because first of all, he's insane. Second of all, one of the biggest things that he's been talking about for the last couple of weeks is how he's going to do away with NAFTA, which will absolutely destroy the Texas economy, which is like the biggest one we have right now. So yeah, that guy can just kind of go fly a kite as far as I'm concerned.
All right, let's be real. Let's just say we did get rid of NAFTA. Okay. Then you better replace it with something gosh darn similar. Because you know what? I'm sick of these Republicans and some Democrats, too, talking about how, yes, we do need to rework these trade deals because we do lose on these trade deals. But at the end of the day, the Republican Party lately has been producing this image of why free trade is bad. And to me, that promotes economic apathy, because that means that these people don't understand economics, or they don't understand why we need free trade agreements, or why free trade agreements are good and actually stimulate the economy and help it grow faster. Like, these are just things that I don't understand. So, that being said, while I do think NAFTA needs to be reworked, I think that the Trans-Pacific Partnership, remember the TPP, I think that could be a great thing if they would just get the corporate, benefits out. Utilizing those Pacific Rim countries would be a great thing to counteract China's growth and power. So, yeah, I mean, that I just think is necessary, but whatever. The Republican Party can continue to do what they do.
Okay, so just to kind of summarize this just a little bit, now you're on the TPP is good train, which is fine. You have the right to your opinion, but let's not forget that the TPP in and of itself is what is considered a dockable agreement. That means that once it's ratified, every country involved in that agreement is basically giving up their own sovereignty as to who else can be a part of that particular agreement.
I completely agree with you on that. I think I wrote my whole research paper on this piece of shit document.
So wait, hang on. One second you're saying it's good, the next second it's a piece of crap document. I'm a little confused.
I'm saying the idea of opening up free trade agreements with these Pacific Rim countries is a wonderful, idea. But looking at the TPP, it's only 6 chapters of the TPP actually talk about free trade. The rest is about, giving away our sovereignty to, evil, wizards of the Illuminati. I don't even know what it talks about. It's ridiculous. We cannot sign the TPP. It is dangerous. But a free trade agreement, just a free trade agreement, with these countries is not a bad idea. But giving up our rights to an international tribune and, all the other environmental crap that goes along with it is not worth it. So,
wait, I thought you liked the environmental aspects of the TPP.
No, well, I mean, it does give environmental standards to new countries, but at the same time, they can sue countries that have great environmental standards because their profits are being hurt. So it's a give and take, and it ultimately would neutralize itself. It's not, if anything, it actually...
It's mainly take, as in take it, never mind. All right, so we've got to take a break, folks. Speaking of taking it, when we come back, we're going to change gears and kind of talk about climate change a little bit. There was an interesting thing about the opening ceremonies last night that I found a little oxymoronic, but maybe Bryce will have a different take on it. This is Finding Common Ground. We'll be back in about 4 or 5 minutes after we pay some bills.
They say we offer simple answers to complex problems, but perhaps there is a simple answer. Not an easy answer, but simple.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
All writers are prone to becoming so attached to our characters and stories that we struggle to see why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing to full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, shaping stories into masterpieces that can stand the test of time. Editing services are provided for all genres and all age categories. Services range from critiques of the short story through to line edits of the full-length novel and copy editing for those preparing for publication. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites, as well as help with those book blurbs and promotional material. We won't abandon you to the masses. We want to celebrate with you in your successes. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services and prices, visit us at blackwolfeditorial.com.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control over your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank account, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problems now by calling the experts at Tax Mediation Services and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. Tax Mediation Services is accredited by the Better Business Bureau. Call now for a free case review and a price protection guaranteed quote.
Call Tax Mediation Services now at 800-610-9050. That's 800-610-9050. 800-610-9050.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it, there to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
They say we offer simple answers to complex problems. Well, perhaps there is a simple answer. Not an easy answer, but simple.
It's common ground. It's common ground.
All right, folks, we are back. We are live. Well into the second half of the show at this point because my dumb butt wasn't watching the clock, so we didn't take our break on time. So we're going to change gears, speed things up just a little bit to get through the last couple of topics. Next one is climate change, but it's with a little bit of a twist because Bryce loves to talk about this topic. I really don't. My definition of climate change is weather. His is the world's coming to an end if we don't do something about it. Everybody already knows that. So we're going to change directions just a little bit. We're going to talk about the opening ceremonies and the fact that they kind of made a big deal about climate change while they're in one of the worst possible countries to make a big deal about climate change. Just saying. Did you see any of that last night, Bryce? Because I have to admit, I didn't. I'm mainly going off of news reports and other things that I saw. Because I was at a football fundraiser last night, which is a story in and of itself, because I live in a really small town now, and I've never seen a football fundraiser before. It was kind of creepy, and they raised a ton of money. It was kind of scary.
Well, A, I live in liberal Sissy, New Jersey, so I don't know what a football fundraiser is. B, I did see half or maybe so of the opening ceremony. and it was meh. It wasn't that great. But yeah, no, Brazil's the 5th largest polluter in the world. You know, we are 2nd or 3rd, but that's beside the point. And anyways, yeah.
So wait, hang on a second. I want to back up a second because that was a figure I hadn't heard before. So you're telling me that even with all of the EPA crap that we have to jump through to do anything within our own borders, we still happen to be like the 2nd or 3rd largest polluter in the world? How the hell does that happen?
We pollute a lot. I mean, I'll get you the exact numbers right now, but we're pretty bad. I know China's number 1. Hey, here it is. All right, it goes China, the United States, the European Union as a whole, then India, then Brazil. And wait. Sorry, India, Russia, then Japan, then Germany. Brazil is relatively lower on the list. This is in reference to CO2 emissions now.
Okay, so now I understand. Never mind.
Yeah, that's what that's in reference to.
CO2 emissions are bad. Never mind the fact that trees breathe it like we breathe oxygen, but CO2 emissions are bad.
Don't breathe CO2. Trees take in CO2 and spit out oxygen. Coal-fired power plants spit out CO2, and that's it. So big difference there.
Actually, no. By definition, trees breathe CO2. You just said they take in carbon dioxide and they release oxygen. It's the same thing that we do, but in reverse. We take in oxygen, we release CO2.
Photosynthesis and respiration, but 2 different things. Now, the issue is
okay, Bill Nye the Science Dweeb, you know what I'm saying. I'm trying to put this in the simplest terms for people possible, because yes, I understand trees don't breathe because they don't have lungs, but still, it's the same freaking thing. They take in one thing, they give out another. The trees need the CO2 to survive.
Yes, but they don't need our CO2 to survive. There is natural CO2. In fact, we are putting out way too much CO2 that the trees, the ocean, they can't handle it. For example, 1, we are cutting down so much of the rainforest. The rainforest is essentially the Earth's lungs, and we've cut down.
They can't be the Earth's lungs because they use photosynthesis to breathe, to process oxygen.
They are the Earth's lungs. They give us air. They give us oxygen for us to breathe. And the rainforest.
Well, no. See, I'm just pointing out that you're using the same analogy that I was just using, but it's okay for you to use it, but not me.
No, I wasn't. But you were comparing that the trees just easily breathe CO2 just as easy as we put it out. So therefore, we're almost feeding the trees. But that's not nearly how it
that's
works.
That's pretty much exactly how it is. It's called a symbiotic relationship. We need the trees need us. It's pretty much that simple.
The trees don't need us. The trees have been here millions and millions of years before us and will continue to be here millions and millions of years after us. The notion that the trees need us,
not according to you, because if climate change if we don't figure this climate change stuff out, none of us is going to be here, and the Earth's going to be a molten ball of lava, and we're all going to die and burn, and it'll be terrible.
No, the Earth will still be here, and the Earth will find its own natural balance after it kills us all. I mean, think about it. We have been here for, if the world was a 24-hour cycle, we've been here for 3 seconds of that 24-hour cycle. We are...
And yet, somehow, in that 3 seconds of the 24-hour cycle, we've managed to doom the entire planet. Let the logic of what you just said sink in.
Yes, I am letting the logic of what I just said sink in, because
so hang on. So hang on. No. So hang on. Let's break down what you just said bit by bit by bit by bit, because you literally just said if we were looking at the world's time clock as if it was a 24-hour cycle, we will have been here for 3 seconds. I don't know anybody short of Jack Bauer that could blow up the entire planet in 3 seconds.
Rick,
just saying.
It's
come on, kid. I'm breaking your balls here. Calm down.
I know, but I'm just saying it's silly to not think that we don't have this power. I mean, look at what we've done so far. Some great things. We are obviously a very smart creature. We're called Homo sapien, wise man, very modestly named, but
and usually pretty inaccurate because we're honestly not that smart.
Exactly, because we're killing our planet.
No, we're not smart for other reasons. I mean, look, I understand that we, as the stewards of the planet, need to do a better job of taking care of the planet. What I disagree with is that we need this large leviathan of a government agency telling us what we need to do, how we need to do it, when we need to do it. And I'm not even saying the EPA doesn't necessarily need to exist, but it doesn't need to exist in the form that it is now, because the EPA has overreached, overstepped, and continued to grow in leaps and bounds ever since its inception, just like any other government agency, because once a government agency exists, it cannot be stopped. They become these leviathans just marching forward to consume everything that they can find to make sure that they continue to grow, continue to create jobs that people need to fill, and then they have to continue to increase their budgets, and then they have to find reasons that they still exist so that they can increase their budgets, etc. It's no different than what's going on in Congress. The simple fact of the matter is, if these people, both in Congress and in all of these government agencies, were actually setting apart ways to fix the problems, eventually we wouldn't need them anymore. It's no different than all of these different preventative medications that we have now for all of these diseases that by now there should be cures for, and there really should be. But there's way so much more money in preventing than there is curing that nobody really wants to find the cures in the first place. And even if they do, they're usually put somewhere under lock and key, and nobody knows they exist because you can make more money off of the prevention than you can the cure. The Environmental Protection Agency is operating under a lot of the same premises, because if they actually made the changes that we need to make to be able to make sure that we had clean renewable energy and etc., that we wouldn't need them anymore. And that's my whole point with all of this. The more I dig into this and the more I become more involved in our politics and our government and the way that it actually works, it's all a shell game and a sham designed to bilk us of our money so they can use it for whatever they want to use it for. And we're not supposed to look at it. We're not supposed to ask any questions. All we're supposed to do is go, oh, that's for government defense. Oh, I'm down for that. Oh, that's for that's to combat climate change. Oh, I'm down for that. And it's all a lie, because they're not really doing anything that they're saying they're doing with most of the money that they take from us. Case in point, Social Security. It was supposed to be this lockbox system where the money went in and it was used and it was supposed to be by design to take care of the people that had reached a certain point and couldn't work anymore. But that money's been being used for everything else and that's why they keep having to make all of these changes.
Well, Rick, all right, first of all, to your tinfoilish theory on the drug industry, which I kind of don't disagree with. I'm just kind of making fun of you. I have this clip to play.
He cured himself. Hold it right there. Damn it, Brian, you broke into my lab, and you didn't wear a suit. Hey, why didn't he have to wear a suit? See what you've started now?
There we go.
Carter, you found a cure for cancer? Well, I didn't come up with it. A couple of eggheads I hired did. One of them's a Chinese. Boy, I don't like those people. But holy crap, wind them up and watch them go. How long have you had this? I don't know. When was that Who Let the Dogs Out song? You've had this since 1999? You know when Who Let the Dogs Out came out? It's a song about dogs and letting them out. I could have you arrested for breaking in here. Carter, you've discovered the holy grail of modern medicine. Why the hell would you keep it buried like this? I'll tell you why. Because there's far more money to be made in treating a disease than in curing it. Why cure someone of cancer in a day if we can treat them for a lifetime and bill them every step along the way? What? That's insane! Brian, it's so cold in here. Look how big my nips are.
All right, well, I love Family Guy, and you just reminded me of that, so I had to play it. But, you know, I do think that is possibly true. And I don't know how we got here from climate change. And now I'm looking at a picture of Stewie with hard nipples. So...
folks, I think Bryce may need a minute alone. We all know what happens when he sees a picture of Stewie with hard nipples.
God damn it, Rick. Anyways, what were we talking about again? Oh, yeah, the EPA and how it's overgrown or whatever. Look, the EPA, well, it is not the most effectively run government agency. I mean, I don't really know any government agency that is effectively run. It's done a lot of good, and we do need a watchdog on the environment.
And I'm not necessarily saying that we don't, but do we need a watchdog on the environment that continues to grow leaps and bounds and is completely outside of its own purview at this point? That's my problem. I'm a limited government guy, which means by definition I don't necessarily like the EPA. But I understand the reason why it needs to exist. But does it need to exist the way it exists right now? That's been my debate all along. I'm not disputing with you climate change. You and I have different ideas of what climate change actually means. To me, the climate changes every day. It's called weather. To you, if the climate continues to change the way it's changing now, eventually we're going to be wiped off the map, and we need to do something about that to fix it. And I understand both sides of the argument. What I'm not willing to do anymore is sit around and watch this behemoth government agency continue to overstep its own authority, and nobody's willing to do anything about it. And that's not just happening with the EPA. It happens in a lot of different aspects of our government anymore. Case in point, the IRS targeting that's been going on ever since the Obama administration let it out that they were doing things they shouldn't really be doing with the IRS, which is still happening, which is, again, another blatant overreach and use of power. And the reason I bring this up now is because whether you're on the Clinton side of the aisle or the Trump side of the aisle, if you think either one of these idiots is going to stop that, then you have a problem, because you're looking up and seeing a pink sky where there should be a blue sky. And it really is about that simple, because once a government agency starts doing things, they never stop unless someone reins them in. So now that all of these things are happening and all of the government agencies are doing all these crazy things that they really shouldn't be doing, the only way we can rein them back in is to put somebody in charge that actually wants to rein them back in. Neither one of these guys want to do that. But we're nearly out of time, so I want to change topics because we got about 5 minutes till we got to flip the switch and get ready for yours. So, Trump Nation, or the Trump train, as they like to call themselves, is in complete meltdown right now. And, of course, I can't end a show without talking about that because the irony is delicious.
Destroyed.
Excuse me?
That's not meltdown. That's worse than meltdown. What's worse than meltdown? They're in worse than meltdown mode right now. They're doing a pretty good job covering it up. Not too well, but pretty good.
Well, no, it's even worse than that because, they've the whole Trump team is basically trying to rein him in. They're trying to get him back on message. He keeps going off the reservation and attacking people that were supposed to be in the party that he's supposed to represent now. And now, much to the chagrin of the Trump train faithful, he actually endorsed a bunch of what are considered elites yesterday because they made him. He endorsed Paul Ryan, he endorsed John McCain, and there was another one whose name I can't pronounce because I've never actually heard it said, that he endorsed as well yesterday, and there was a complete upheaval within the Trump train. I actually saw a couple of people that literally jumped off for about 5 seconds like, I'm out. If he's going to endorse those people, then he's not who he said he was, and then they began being eaten by the piranha that are the other Trump train folks, and they jumped right back on the train. It was kind of funny to watch.
Look, the Trump train is a train to nowhere. It's a big train with little people on board, in my eyes. And it looks big and menacing, but you know what? The good old Hillary train is coming.
I hate you right now.
This is a prediction. She's going to win by so much, it's not even funny. She's predicted to win. I forget which source did it, but it's one of those notable sources. Where she won 347 to 1, whatever. And she's going to win North Carolina, they said. She's going to win all these states. So, look, Hill Dog is going to be our next prez, and I'm fine with that. So,
did you really just say Hill Dog? I'm about to hit your freaking mute button.
I did just say Hill Dog, and I think she's going to win, and I think I'm going to like it.
Oh, yeah, you're going to like it for about 30 seconds till you realize that she lied to you almost as bad as Trump's been lying to everybody else.
Oh, no, I know she's been lying to me. I know.
But you're still fine with it. That's the scary thing. That's what I don't understand. And again, going back to what I've been saying this entire cycle, for the first time in my lifetime, we have about 30% on both sides of the aisle that don't want either one of these idiots, but nobody's willing to take the leap and at least try third party. Look, I don't agree with everything that Johnson says, and I'm not a big fan with some of the stuff that I know is going on behind the scenes in the Libertarian Party, but at this point, at least they are another option. At least they are a choice. I'm to the point now where I think we need as many viable and possible choices anywhere on the ballot to try to break up this conglomeration that has become the Republicrats, because there isn't a Republican and a Democratic Party anymore. They're one and the same. They're just two different brands. And we need an actual choice to finally start making a difference, instead of everyone just getting up every day when it comes time to an election cycle and going, "Oh, I'm supposed to vote for the one that's got the blue tie on or the blue pantsuit on because I'm a Democrat. Oh, I'm a Republican, so I got to go pick up my red banner and go vote for the guy that's supposed to have the red tie on." And it's just completely Pavlovian response to elections, and all we keep getting is screwed in the process. And if we're going to ever actually have a chance to make a change, we're going to have to stand up and make a change. And again, as a reminder on the way out the door, for everyone who keeps saying that third party can't work, if that were true, Donald Trump would be running as a Whig right now. And I've said it before, but it would make a lot more sense if he was running as a Whig. Just look at the hair. Man.
I mean, I think we need to do a show on Gary Johnson, because I considered it. I don't love him as much as I thought I would, because I really think that Bill Weld is a much better candidate than him. And I think
I personally thought that that Austin Peterson was a better candidate than him. And as an Oklahoman, every time I start to try to say Austin Peters, I wind up saying either Adrian Peterson or Austin Peterson. Or anyway, AP4LP. Look him up on Twitter. Great guy.
I don't like him.
Yeah, I know you don't like him, but that's why I like him, because I knew you wouldn't.
Weird things. But anyways, I guess, whatever. Time to jump trains to the Opinion Nation train.
What is it? Right. What is
it? For Opinion Nation, I have two guests coming on. One from the chair of the New Jersey Libertarian Party, and the other is Lloyd Kelso. Stay tuned.
They say we offer simple answers to complex problems. Well, perhaps there is a simple answer. Not an easy answer, but simple.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
All writers are prone to becoming so attached to our characters and stories that we struggle to see why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing to full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, shaping stories into masterpieces that can stand the test of time. Editing services are provided for all genres and all age categories. Services range from critiques of the short story through to the line edits of the full-length novel and copy editing for those preparing for publication. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites, as well as help with those book blurbs and promotional material. We won't abandon you to the masses. We want to celebrate with you in your successes. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services and prices, visit us at blackwolfeditorial.com.